In the dusty, dim-lit corners of Spin City Sounds lived Leo, a young man whose heart beat to the rhythm of crackling vinyl. His apartment, a shrine to obscure jazz and forgotten folk artists, was overflowing with records. One sun-drenched Saturday, fueled by a rare pressing of a 1960s psychedelic rock album he just acquired, Leo decided to venture beyond the city's hum. He laced up his boots and headed for the rolling hills that sprawled behind the record store, a place he'd only ever seen from afar. The ascent was steeper than he anticipated, but the crisp air and the scent of pine needles invigorated him. After an hour, he stumbled upon a clearing, and in its center, a ramshackle cabin, seemingly carved from the very earth itself. A wisp of smoke curled from its chimney, and a figure, gnarled and ancient as the oak trees surrounding the dwelling, sat on a wooden stump. This was Silas, the Hermit of the Hills, a legend whispered among the older shopkeepers of Spin City. He was said to have lived in isolation for decades, shunning all modern conveniences. Leo, a little startled but also intrigued, approached cautiously. Silas, with a beard that rivaled Gandalf's, merely grunted, his eyes, the color of a winter sky, observing Leo with an unnerving intensity. An awkward silence hung between them, broken only by the chirping of crickets. Then, a thought sparked in Leo's mind. He unzipped his backpack, carefully extracting a portable, hand-cranked record player and the psychedelic rock album. "Ever heard music before?" Leo asked, his voice a little shaky. Silas blinked, a slow, deliberate movement. Sound of wind, sound of river, sound of bird. His voice was a gravelly whisper, like rustling leaves. Leo smiled. "This is different." He gently placed the record on the turntable, cranked the handle, and lowered the needle. A soft hiss, then the opening chords of a distorted guitar, swirling and ethereal, filled the clearing. The music, a cascade of vibrant sounds and hypnotic rhythms, drifted through the trees, a living entity in the quiet wilderness. Silas, who had been whittling a piece of wood, froze. His hands, accustomed to the rough texture of bark, became still. His eyes, which had held the wisdom of decades of solitude, widened, reflecting the setting sun's hues. The music was a language he didn't understand, yet it spoke to something deep within him, something that had been dormant for perhaps a lifetime. He tilted his head, his brow furrowed in a mixture of confusion and wonder. As the vocals kicked in, a soaring melody carried on a wave of reverb. A single tear traced a path through the dust on Silas's cheek. Leo watched, mesmerized by the Hermit's transformation. It was as if the music was breathing life into his statue, chipping away at the years of isolation and revealing a raw, unburdened soul. When the first side of the record ended, a profound silence descended, heavier than before. Silas looked at Leo, his eyes shining. Again, he rasped, his voice imbued with a newfound urgency. And so, as dusk painted the sky in shades of orange and violet, Leo played records for Silas. He played jazz that swirled like the evening mist, folk songs that echoed the rustling leaves, and blues that spoke of universal longing. With each new sound, Silas shed another layer of his hermetic shell. He tapped his foot tentatively to a swing tune, hummed along to a soulful melody, and even, once, closed his eyes, a serene smile gracing his ancient lips. By the time the moon hung high, a pearly orb in the inky sky, Silas was a changed man. The music had not merely entertained him, it had awakened him. It had shown him a world beyond the wind, the river, and the birds, a world of human emotion, expression, and connection. As Leo packed up his record player, Silas reached out a gnarled hand, stopping him. "Stay," he whispered, his voice soft, almost melodic. From that day forward, Leo made regular pilgrimages to the Hermit's cabin, a portable record player and a selection of vinyl treasures always in tow. The clearing became their shared sanctuary, a place where the ancient wisdom of the hills met the vibrant pulse of human creativity. Silas, the hermit who had never heard music, was no longer just a hermit. He was a listener, a dancer, a man transformed, his solitude now filled with the echoes of melodies, a testament to the power of a young man, his records, and the universal language of sound. Silas's transformation continued to unfold with each passing season. He started humming melodies he remembered from Leo's visits, his gravelly voice softened by the practice. He even began to carve intricate designs into his wooden creations, patterns that seemed to mimic the swirling arpeggios of a jazz saxophone or the rhythmic pulse of a drum solo.